Hello and welcome to The Talk with Tariro, a program that covers diverse issues here on ZTV. Today on the program, we are looking at one amazing woman in Zimbabwe. Why am I saying amazing? You will hear her story. And we are headlining this discussion to an issue where we would say your present does not define your future. And listening to her, you will know why we are saying today your present does not define your future. Today on the show, we have Mrs. Fortunate Kufakunesu. My Kufa, welcome to The Talk with Tariro.
Thank you, Tariro.
Yes. Maybe for Zimbabwe, who is Fortunate Kufakunesu?
Fortunate Kufakunesu is the woman sitting before you right now. Happily married to Prime Kufakunesu. She serves as a pastor, as a teacher, family and marriage counselor therapist, and also as a businesswoman.
Right. We want to go to your upbringing for us to then say, when we say your present does not define your future, tell us, how did you grow up?
Okay, thank you. I grew up in the hands of my grandmother, who was blind. Having born to a teen mother who had no resources to look after us, and he had no choice but to go to the city to work as a housemaid. So, staying with my grandmother, generally I had to do everything that needed to be done at home. That means fetching firewood, fetching the water, cooking, young as I was, even to the extent of going to the grinding mill.
How old were you
My,
when you were now cooking, looking after Mbuya, who was blind? How old were you?
my mother left for the city when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
So I started, I must say, looking after instead of her looking after me. It was a typical child at home.
Yeah.
Because I had to make sure that everything is done. She used to remind me to do some chores that she thinks maybe I might forget to do them, and then I made sure that they are done.
Yeah.
So with that responsibility, I did not manage to get the privilege of playing with my the children who were of the same age with me. Kuita maumbwe.
Yes.
I couldn't. That was luxury. And also, I could not attend school every day. Every day due to the responsibility and even the fees. No one could pay my school fees. I had no uniform, no shoes. So I could go to school barefooted. So at the age when most girl children are given to marriage in our area in Chiwota, 14 years, that's when God remembered me and sent a couple to come and ask for me from my grandmother. And they sponsored my education, secondary and tertiary education.
So you were learning Kwachiwota, or you had to leave Mbuya?
When this couple came to ask for me, I had to leave Mbuya. And then my mother now had to go back to Mbuya to look after her. And I was staying with this couple in the city.
Okay. Tell us, how was it coming from Kumusha, no shoes, nothing, almost struggling with anything, and then coming to the city? How was it adjusting?
At first, it was quite difficult for me to play with other children, with other girls, because they knew Life City.
Yeah.
And I was used to the rural life. So it was quite difficult. Even when I was going to school, I could find a place to sit on my own because I understood myself well and where I'm coming from.
Yes.
And even language. I could not speak English well. And with the schools that are in the city, most of the children are speaking in English. So my language was not very good. And I used to be shy.
Yeah.
So I chose to find a place, a quiet place for myself, and I sit there at break time, at lunchtime. And then at home time, I head straight home.
So after school, you went up to what, and then to where you are now? Would want to know, or maybe to when you eventually got married.
Okay, I went up to O level, and then after O level, I went for temporary teaching for 2 years at St. Giles Rehabilitation Center and at Zimke in Dzivarasekwa. And then after that, I got a place at then Chinoi Technical Teachers College, the Chinoi University now.
So you are a qualified teacher.
I'm a qualified teacher, and I was specializing in computer education.
And then kuzororwa, that happened when?
I met my man in 1996, and then we got married soon after I completed my college education.
Okay. All right. So when you met your man, was he already in ministry, or ministry yakazoya later?
He was not in ministry then. And when he received the call to save the kingdom of God, that's when I said to myself, I feel if my husband is going to be saving people, I also have to save well. And I applied for a place at a theological college. And I also trained there whilst my husband was training.
Okay. All right, we will continue with our discussion with Mrs. Fortunate Kufakunesu on the Talk with Tariro. You heard a story. Kukura, at 5 years, she was already heading a household. But now, she's somebody that I would say a successful businesswoman. Why am I saying that? You will continue hearing more. Join us after this short break. Welcome back as we continue with our discussion on the Talk with Tariro. We are with Mrs. Fortunate Kufakunesu. My Kufa, knowing you and where you are now, what pushed you to rise against all odds?
Thank you, Tariro. I would say the first one would be the grace of God. I look at my experience, and I feel that God made me have such an experience for me to make an impact in the life of a girl child and a woman. But I also feel that I cannot save well if I do not have resources. And knowing what I went through, I do have children, 5 of them, a boy and 4 girls, and a girl and a grandchild.
Wow. Already.
So, so I always feel that if I do not have, then I am not able to give my child a life that they deserve.
Yeah.
And if I do not have, my children's life or lives are at risk, because they can go for anything if I can provide for them. And again, I don't feel comfortable looking at a girl child or a young woman going through what I went through. So that gives me the push to work harder, so that I can have the resources to provide for them. Above all, God blessed me with a husband who is so supportive. He has given me the freedom to work,
Yeah.
and he always advises me on how I should go on whatever I decide to do. He is my powerhouse.
So what maybe Zimbabweans would want to know, what businesses are you into? You know, there's this misconception that people often have, especially for men and women of God, kuti ava vanorarama nematithes, vana mai kufa na pastor kufa ndo ma right hand person prophet makandiwaka, saka vanongorarama nematithes. Yet those who know you, they actually know that you wake up at 4. There was one time when we chatted, when we were organizing something, and 2 a.m. we were both chatting about. And I'm like, does this woman rest? Honestly, because half the time you are ever working.
That's very true, Tariro, and I'm grateful to the shepherds that God placed on my way.
Yeah.
Prophet Makandiwa and Mama Ruth Makandiwa. They teach us to do business. And not just the congregates, but even the pastors. And they too have got their own businesses.
Yeah.
So I don't expect to earn from their own income, personal income, when I too have got the hands to work. So we do work. I do have a life coaching business where I do life coaching, counseling, and therapy. I'm comfortable with girls and women because I feel that I was called to serve them. And I also have a business for gifts, Christian gifts, where I sell Christian books, Bibles, and Christian gifts like coffee mugs, Bible markers, and all. And I also do have a study center where children are being helped with their extra lessons and their research work and printing and photocopying.
Yeah. And one thing that really defines you is your philanthropy work, that philanthropic work that you are actually doing, especially in your community in Juhota. For somebody who has it all, you would have said, you need to write. And God smiled on you. But you toil day in, day out, organizing fundraising events, doing amazing work there that I don't want to talk about. I would want you to actually talk about all that philanthropic work that you're doing.
Okay. Sure. I feel that I am called to serve those girls in vulnerable communities, the teen mothers and the young women who are going through different situations. And like I mentioned earlier, I feel that God made me to have such an experience for a purpose, because I have believed that each and every one of us has got a purpose to an area to serve.
Yes.
So, having that said, I always have got that question that if we do have someone who is in the vulnerable community, we're supposed to save a great number of people, more than the people that I'm serving or anyone is serving. and there's no one to rescue them like what this couple did for me,
Yes.
then what is going to happen of the people that she is going to save?
Yeah.
For how long are they going to wait? Maybe some people are going to die in the same state, having no one to save them in that area, because God placed something in a girl who is in the rural areas. So I feel the pain. I know how it feels, and that gives me the push that maybe in saving those girls, I will save someone who's going to save more than I am saving right now. So, yeah, I can say I do this and that, but I feel my main calling is this philanthropic work. I have to do something because God loved me and sent me someone to save me, to rescue me from the situation.
Indeed, that's one aspect, one key factor that I admire, Mai Kufakunesu, just giving back to the community to say, yes, I'm living a comfortable life, but what am I doing? And as a nation as well, if we have that spirit, that ability of even thinking about others, the spirit of Ubuntu, feeling for that other person, we can make a great nation. We'll continue with our discussion after this short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We continue with our discussion where we have the pleasure and privilege of having Mrs. Fortunate Kufakunesu. So share with us success stories of some of the girls that you're actually working with in marginalized communities.
Thank you. I am working with Marondera Rural District, and we were given 3 wards that we are working with: Ward 2, Ward 15, and Ward 16. It's got 83 villages, 16 schools, and by the time they counted, they were saying they have got 4,919 households. So far, our main objective is to keep a girl child in school. And then we take those who had dropped out of school due to different circumstances back to school so that they can continue with their education. So in order to keep them in school, we should pay their school fees. So we are helping some of the girls with fees, with uniforms and stationery. And to keep a girl child in school again, we look at the menstrual health, and we do the campaigns, and then we donate some pads for them. And so far, we do have 755 girls that we give a whole year supply, so that when we give them this year, the following year we go the same time and we give them. We do not do it monthly.
All right.
And we also saw that at one school that we are assisting, both girls and boys were using same block of toilets, and we saw that it's not safe for our girl child. So we had to build another block so that the boys can use that block. And we have also supported the grandmothers who do not have anyone to help them, like what it used to be with my grandmother. So we always give them some basic foods, and on Mother's Day, when everyone is celebrating their own mothers, we celebrate them. At Christmas, when everyone is celebrating the festive season, we make sure that they've got enough for the festive season. We have also begun an initiative of constructing a resource learning facility
Wow.
which will be open to the community, so that the learners in school can have access to educational materials that enable them to pass their exams. And then those that are out of school can also have access to the resources so that they can continue with their education. And we were given an area to build the land at a school that is on the central of Ward 15, but we noticed that there was no water. So we have drilled a borehole there.
Wow.
So that we can have water to build, and the students can also have water, because they used to bring their own water from home to wash their hands and to drink. And now we need to start on building the facility. Yes.
Indeed, with such amazing work, imagine if in all our provinces, in all our districts, we can have a Maikufa in all our areas. Where will our country be? You also have written a book. Tell us about that.
Oh yes, I have written a book, A Woman in Pursuit of Purposeful Destiny. When I wrote this book, I was just thinking that a book is not limited.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we do have soft copies that can get anywhere, so every woman can get access to this book. In this book, I'm trying to encourage girls and women to live their purpose. So it's got a guide to teach them how they can identify their purpose, how they can start living on their purpose, and the benefits of living what they are supposed to be living, what was put within them by God.
So it's more of an empowerment tool that women and girls can actually use.
Yes.
And my question is, what really keeps you going? Because looking at all the amazing work that you're doing, and you're not resting, you're still continuing. You're still continuing with your philanthropic path, your business, your ministry. What energizes you?
The love of God, that's the first one. And I do get some encouragements from my followers, some feedback that I get, and also the shepherds that God gave me, they are always supporting me. I mentioned my husband,
Yes.
he's always there by my side. And besides, time is not on our side.
Yeah.
If God created me to serve these girls, I have to serve as many as I can, because I don't know when God will say, it's time for you to be with me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And what would you say is a message that you would want to give, especially Zimbabweans who've been blessed by God with provisions, but oftentimes we never think of serving others, we never think of uplifting the next person, our communities. We run with the mantra here in Zimbabwe of saying, "Nyika inovakwa nevene vayo." And looking at you, you are one person who is actually fulfilling that mantra. What would you say to Zimbabweans to just challenge, especially those who have blessed enough to have the resources to be able to contribute to the next person, to their communities, to their country?
I would say God placed us where we are for a reason, and He expects us to act accordingly. It's our duty to find out what we are supposed to be doing. Imagine if this couple did not come my way, maybe I would have died. How many people in vulnerable communities are we killing day in, day out, when we have got enough resources to stretch our hands? When we do have resources that we are sparing, I encourage each and every Zimbabwean to be able to stretch their hands towards others, to help someone who will, maybe, you never know, will help their own children. Because when we die, we do not know what will happen to our children or our grandchildren. Maybe that person that we help today will help my grandchildren. So it is good to help, and I invite each and every Zimbabwean to come join hands with us so that tivake nyika yedu tisive nevayo.
Indeed, powerful message, powerful story there, testimony from Mrs. Fortunate Kufakunesu. It's a challenge. Let's not mourn and say, I do not have this. She was in the village. At 5 years already looking after her visually impaired grandmother. Kunochera huni, kunochera mvura, kutsvaga huni, kufudza mombe. But that did not define her future. When you're talking about successful people in Zimbabwe, they're amongst those people that we actually talk about. So let's not let circumstances limit us. Until we meet again next week, it's goodbye.